there's something quietly tragic about how dependency seeps into our daily existence without us even noticing. You rarely detect it early. It doesn't always arrive as a needle or an empty bottle. Sometimes it wears the mask of another hour lost to endless scrolling. Sometimes it's the desperate need for a notification buzz just to feel anchored. Sometimes it's one more episode, then another, then an entire series. And it slowly becomes your new normal until suddenly it isn't. You're no longer seeking a peak experience. You're running from a hollow pit. And the unsettling truth is, most of us have no idea where that hollow pit originates. If you had asked Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung how to truly address compulsive behavior, he wouldn't have handed you a withdrawal plan. He wouldn't even fixate on the outward action. He would ask about your inner world. Because Jung saw addiction not as the core disease, but as a distress signal. We inhabit an era that's starved of natural reward, yet addicted to artificial stimulation. Our neural circuits keep scrambling to feel better, yet remain trapped in a repetitive cycle. Dopamine, the molecule tied to drive and satisfaction, keeps depleting. Not merely because of our habits, but because of what we fail to recognize within ourselves. Jung labeled this a severance from the authentic self. Not your public persona, not your career label, your true self. The most grounded, integrated version of who you actually are. The dimension connected to meaning, imagination, and purpose. Dependency, Jung argued, represents a kind of spiritual hunger, a message from the hidden mind not merely requesting relief but demanding completeness. Addiction is a scream from the abandoned self. This explains why mainstream recovery models often miss the mark. We manage the compulsion but overlook the human being. We seal the surface crack while ignoring the fractured foundation. Jung insisted that genuine restoration only arrives when we dare to examine the concealed dimensions we've rejected, the aspects we criticize, the emotions we dread, the voices that desperately want acknowledgement, not suppression. And if that sounds overwhelming, you're not alone. Because here's the surprising twist. The hidden self isn't evil. It's just stored energy. And paradoxically, that's precisely where recovery lives. But Jung didn't merely offer abstract concepts. He provided a roadmap, a psychological and existential toolkit for reclaiming what's been lost. Approaches that clarify why our reward system collapsed and how to live in a manner that naturally rebuilds it, not by pursuing pleasure, but by syncing with deeper purpose. We're about to explore those tools, practical ones, reflective ones, even a few you can apply immediately. So stay through this entire video, because what you'll uncover isn't just how to heal dependency, it's how to finally recognize the part of you that's been speaking through it all along. And before we proceed, if you're someone who loves expanding your perspective and journeying through life's deeper questions, make sure to subscribe to Winds of Thought so you never miss a step on this inward exploration. So if dependency is the symptom rather than the root cause, what lies beneath it? Let's discuss dopamine, not as a trendy term, but as a messenger. Dopamine isn't simply the pleasure molecule. It's the fuel behind every small action that makes us feel vibrant. It's motivation, excitement, and reward. The buzz of a message. The first taste of something sweet. The kind text saying, "I'm proud of you." When your dopamine runs low, existence starts feeling colorless, unmotivating, and dull. That's when the yearning intensifies. But dopamine shortage rarely begins with streaming services or fast food. It typically starts much earlier. It begins with emotional suppression, with environments where honesty carried a penalty, where you felt forced to be the agreeable child, the resilient one, the caretaker. You learned to shove your own needs aside just to cope. And in that shoving, you disconnected from the authentic self. Jung called this psychological fragmentation. It's when you bury the pieces of yourself that weren't acceptable and construct a protective mask instead. What does the brain do with that kind of chronic detachment? It hunts for escape. Some chase it in alcohol, others in relationships or screens. But it's never truly about the object. It's about the feeling they're trying to recreate. A flicker of significance, a moment of feeling worthy, even if just for an instant. Have you ever noticed how one small escape leads to needing a bigger one? So now we're stuck not merely in a compulsion, but in a cycle. Inner void, dopamine collapse, numbing behavior, guilt, then even deeper void. Carl Jung understood that breaking this cycle isn't about raw willpower, it's about reintegration. He once wrote something like, "We don't become illuminated by staring at light alone, but by bringing darkness into awareness." That means turning toward the hurting part of yourself instead of fleeing it. That means asking, what pain is this habit trying to anesthetize? And which part of me have I abandoned in order to survive? This is where Jung's method radically differs from conventional models. He didn't just want you abstinent, he wanted you complete. And that completeness begins with recognition, with seeing your patterns not as defects but as clues. Small signals from your deeper mind guiding you back home. That's why Jung considered dreams sacred, why symbols and myths carried weight. They were communications from the pieces we forgot. The inner child, the rebel, the wounded one, the healer, all still alive within you. And until we create space for them, we'll keep trying to feel whole through things never designed to complete us. But here's the hopeful news. The instant you stop viewing dependency as a moral failure and start seeing it as a message, that's the instant healing begins to unfold. Dependency isn't your identity. It's a survival mechanism your psyche constructed to shield you from pain you never got to process. Your addiction is not your enemy. It's your first responder. What if the thing breaking you is actually pointing toward wholeness? But now you're ready. You're curious. And that changes everything. So let's walk through 3 methods, practical, somatic, and soul-oriented, that can help you reconnect with your deeper self and reveal what's truly driving those repetitive urges. These aren't about fighting the dependency. They're about listening to it. Tool number 1, shadow engagement. Carl Jung's most transformative concept was the shadow, the hidden region of our psyche containing everything we've rejected, denied, or condemned about ourselves. The rage, the grief, the envy, the terror, even the longing to feel powerful, cherished, or visible. These fragments don't disappear, they simply go underground. And they leak outward through our compulsions, blame patterns, and habits. Shadow engagement means making the unconscious conscious. It means sitting with yourself and asking, which part of me have I locked away because I believed it was unacceptable? What truth am I avoiding that I desperately need to face? You can begin shadow engagement through journaling. Try asking, if my dependency could speak out loud, what would it tell me? Write freely, no censorship. Let it express itself. You might be amazed at how much honesty waits just beneath the surface. Tool number 2, breath awareness. Now, Jung never formally taught breathing techniques, but if he were alive today, he might recognize breathwork as one of the most direct pathways to meet the unconscious through the body. Breath awareness means using intentional rhythmic breathing to bypass the chattering mind and access stored emotional energy. Our breath is unique. It's both automatic and controllable. That makes it a gateway to the hidden self. When you breathe consciously, especially in a connected circular rhythm, you signal your nervous system. It's safe now. You can release. What often follows is the surfacing of suppressed feelings, unresolved wounds, or even forgotten memories. Some people cry, some laugh, some tremble. Some experience clarity they've never felt before. This isn't just emotional cleansing, it's psychological integration. You're clearing the energetic blockages that dependency tried to numb. Dependency numbs, breath reveals. Even one session can make you realize the thing you were craving wasn't a substance, it was yourself. Tool number 3, symbolic ceremony as dialogue with the inner world. Carl Jung often observed that the soul communicates in pictures. That's why symbols, dreams, and ceremonies carry such power. They bypass logic and speak directly to the unconscious. When we're trapped in dependency, it's not just our behaviors that are misaligned. Often our inner world has been silenced or neglected. Ceremony becomes a way to reopen that conversation. But we're not talking about empty routine. We're talking about a deliberate act of reconnection.